Hello YouTube. I wanted to do this video real quick, coming to you from my office for the first time live. No kidding. But yeah, I recently made a uh, selling decision and purchasing decision that I wanted to share with you. So first of all, I've decided to go ahead and sell my Kobe Bryant Topps Chrome rookie card that I think you might have remember seeing in one of my past videos, perhaps. Um, I've had that card for a while now. I've had it for a little over 5 years, and I thought maybe now would be a good time to go ahead and cash out on that particular card and get something else instead that I will show you here in just a minute. But my reasoning for selling the Kobe Chrome Rookie really is kind of twofold. I really kind of think that um, those who know that card, I know a lot of people watching this probably are very, very aware of that card and its importance in the hobby and the importance of the Topps Chrome set, the 96 Topps Chrome set, which was the first one that came out for Topps Chrome. So it's been considered one of the more important cards in the history of basketball cards, really. But there's also a really good possibility, in my opinion, that those base cards from Topps Chrome and Topps Finest from that era will start to decline pretty significantly in value over the next few years. They've already slid in value, but it's been consistent with just about everything else that's been sliding in value across sports cards in general. Um, but I think there's a greater risk of it sliding even further. I think. Um, in those, once again, probably are familiar with some of the reasoning behind it. That includes the problem that those cards seem to have when they were printed. When they were printed, originally those chromium type cards, starting with the 93 Topps Finest cards to going all the way to the 97 Topps Chrome, Topps Finest, Bowman's Best sets and whatnot. They were originally done with a different type of paper and a different type of, um, I guess, chromium technology. I don't even know scientifically how to explain it necessarily, but basically, whatever paper that they use with those cards, with that sort of chromium um, way of making them, there was some sort of there's some sort of chemical reaction that has happened with those cards since they've been printed. The reaction is of course is they start turning green over time, and I think people of course started noticing this several years ago, and at first it was kind of thought, well, maybe it's turning green because the way you leave them out in sunlight or the way it reacts if it gets warm or if it's above room temperature, and things like that. Maybe that's what's causing the greening on those cards. But people who are smarter than me, who know a little bit more about the scientific reasoning for this to occur, have suggested that it's just the way that that paper is reacting to that type of technology that they use. And Topps rectified that eventually, starting with the 98, 99 Topps Chrome set. They started using a different type of paper that will not react that way to that chromium technology. And so it was no longer an issue after that, from 1998 and beyond. But it is going to be an issue for years to come, it seems like, for those cards between 1993 and 1997, including that Kobe Bryant Topps Chrome card. Now, will this have an effect on value for all those cards from that era? I don't think so. I think even if you see greening on some of those really rare, refractor versions of those cards, or just really rare, um, inserts or whatever from some of those sets, I think the value of a lot of those cards will still be pretty high. They'll still appreciate over time. But I'm just thinking about just the base rookie cards, even the base Kobe and the base That said, obviously has a lot of great rookie cards. That was a great rookie class. So you have Allen Iverson and Ray Allen and all kinds of great Hall of Famers in that set. I do think that it will start to have an effect on value over time for some of those base rookies as those cards continue to green more and more over time. Now you can see the card that I had in particular didn't have a ton of greening. It still looked like it was in pretty good shape, and you can see a little bit of greening, on his forearm and a couple of other places. And like I said, I'd had that card for 5 years, and I don't think it's really greened much more from what I can tell in the 5 years that I've owned it. So some of these cards will probably take quite some time before they really start to green significantly. I mean, obviously some of these cards have already been out there and have been pulled and have existed for, 25, for almost 25 years now. So in the 25 years that it has existed, it hasn't really started to get too green. Some of these copies still haven't started to get too green yet. But still, the prevailing thought is that they will green eventually, and all those cards will green over time. And so will people value those cards as much when they all start turning significantly green? So that is a bet that I'm thinking is probably going to wind up coming true at some point with those cards. And so my idea was to go ahead and cash out of that when it's still got a pretty good value. Especially for me, like I said, I bought it 5 years ago. So when I bought it for like around $550, and I wound up selling it here a couple weeks ago for $1,600. So I was happy with my return on investment on this card anyway. Um, and yeah, I do have concerns that the value on that is going to dip well below 1600 here in the near future, and may get back to below 1,000 here within the next year or so, and continue to dip if those cards continue to lose their popularity when the more of the greening and whatnot occurs with it. So I went ahead and cashed out on that, and I decided to use the funds I got from that to pick up something else that I have been really really wanting to add to my collection for quite some time. And so I'll go ahead and show that to you now. So as you can see, I've decided to get the 2008-2009 Upper Deck Exquisite Rookie Patch Autograph card of Russell Westbrook. Really nice patch here, I thought. I really like. I mean, it almost looks like maybe it's one of his letters on his name or something. Perhaps it's the O on his last name. Perhaps I don't know for sure, but a really nice 3-color patch. Number 77 out of 225. Okay, so this did not cost me $1,600. This cost me a little bit more than the $1,600 I got for my Kobe card, but I basically used those funds and a little bit more to go ahead and get my hands on this guy, which is something that I've been, like I said, I've been wanting one of these Westbrook RPAs for a while. I've been wanting an exquisite basketball RPA for quite some time, just in general. This is actually my first one I've ever purchased. I really think that these exquisite RPAs will continue to appreciate more and more over the years, just because, I mean, those, once again, if you're watching this video, I probably don't need to tell you the importance of the Upper Deck Exquisite brand and what it did for high-end basketball brands and what it did for really solidifying people's opinions on putting a lot of money into basketball cards. It brought back a lot of collectors into the card collecting field when they started seeing that, oh wow, you can start getting cards that have patches and autographs on the card. And Exquisite was the brand that really perfected this. I think they had RPAs in other brands before Exquisite, but when Exquisite came out in 2003, it just really sort of perfected the RPA look, and it was the most popular RPA um, during that time period. And like I said, if they first came out in 2003, unfortunately, Upper Deck, of course, lost its NBA license um, around 2008, 2009. So they only got to do NBA RPAs from 2003 to 2008. So there's very, very few Upper Deck NBA RPAs that exist out there. And so, obviously everyone knows about the famous LeBron James RPA from 2003 that's going for 6 or 7 figures mostly. But you look at all the other Hall of Fame RPAs during that time period, and there isn't a ton because uh, Upper Deck only got to do it for about 5 years. I mean, they continued to do exquisite brands after they lost their NBA license, but they were obviously never able to use any um, NBA materials, and so they never really, so they weren't actually RPAs. They just did like, uh, you know, basic cards with on-card autographs from their college, with a college uniform picture, basically, whatever. So the amount of bona fide players and bona fide Hall of Famers that have an NBA RPA from Upper Deck Exquisite is very small. You've got like the 2003 class, obviously, you have LeBron and Wade and Carmelo and Chris Bosh. 2004, you have like Dwight Howard. 2005, you have Chris Paul. Don't really have anyone from 2006 that's really noteworthy. 2007, of course, you have Kevin Durant. And then 2008, this is the last year that they were able to do the NBA licensed RPAs. And you have Russell Westbrook from that year, of course. And that's about it. So, so there's only a small finite of exquisite RPAs that exist for um, certain NBA Hall of Famers, basically. So anyway, so I think these exquisite cards will continue to appreciate for sure more and more over time. I think Russell Westbrook cards in general will appreciate more once he's retired and once people sort of remember a lot of the great things that he did do in his career as opposed to what has happened to him these past couple of years when his stats and his overall play has certainly gone downhill as he's gotten older, which is expected, of course. That happens to a lot of people. But more people talk about Russell Westbrook, it seems like, than a lot of other players. But I think that it's a good time to get my hands on one of these. The cost of this comparatively to some of the other RPAs that I talked about from that era uh, is, much less than some of those other ones are going for. So I really thought it's a good buy to go ahead and get one of these now. I this came from this Russell Westbrook super collector, basically, that I found through Facebook. And he showed me his collection that he needed to go ahead and sell some of it because he just recently had his second child, and so he just needed to go ahead and get some additional. He needed to go ahead and cash out and liquidate some of his collection, and I'll show you some of the pictures he sent me of his collection. And these aren't all of the cards he has. He says he has quite a few more, but he just wanted to kind of show me some of the highlights. And as you can see, he has 3 exquisite RPAs, and so I went ahead and snatched one of those. And there's quite a few more here that I might try and snatch up here one of these days. And you can see this Topps Chrome Refractor is the red refractor Topps Chrome card from that set, which once again I think a lot of you might be familiar. That is the rarest version of that card from that year. It's numbered out of 5, and that was one of the years where they didn't do a superfractor 1 of 1 or anything. So the red refractor out of 5 is the rarest one you can pull from 2008 2009 Topps Chrome. So he's got one of those for Westbrook, and then he just has a lot of other awesome cards, awesome patches and tag pieces and whatnot. So anyway, so got the deal done with him for one of his RPAs. So I'm really happy about it and really happy to add this to my collection. So with that theme in mind, I wanted to go ahead and do a free giveaway for all my subscribers and whatnot. So just like a normal YouTube giveaway. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment down below, and if you do that, I'll put you in a random drawing for these 3 cards, and these are all 3 game used pieces of Russell Westbrook. I just want to show you, yeah, these are all game worn materials. So there's that. There's this one from Innovation. And this is one of the ones that has very specific date that this was worn. And then last but not least is this one from Court Kings. Sorry. Performance Art Court Kings. And once again, this is another game worn piece that actually has the actual date that this was worn. So yeah, so 3 game worn pieces of Russell Westbrook. So pretty cool. It's getting harder and harder to get good game worn pieces in Panini products nowadays. But yeah, so I'll do these 3 cards as my giveaway. So yeah, please comment, like, and subscribe to potentially win these cards, and I'll do the drawing here. Hopefully I'll be able to do it here within the next week or so. Maybe I'll do it shortly after the holiday, after the 4th of July holiday, and hopefully that'll be enough time to have enough people get in the giveaway, sweepstakes, whatever. Okay, so that's it for today. Just wanted to, like I said, give you sort of my reasoning for cashing out of the Kobe and getting this exquisite RPA instead. So anyway, so thank you so much for watching. Have a good day.